Hey everyone, it's Kimmy. I am Mama on a Mission. I am a 14-year online reseller on eBay, Poshmark, Depop, and on Whatnot. And today I'm going to share with you a couple items that I'm shipping out this morning. But I also wanted to kind of just go through some thoughts about the reselling world right now. My business, as many of you know, is going through a transition. I previously co-owned with my sisters a brick and mortar, so a physical retail location, a resale shop, and that has now closed. And I have a lot of thoughts going into the end of 2025. There's a good chance that I might do a couple of these end of year reseller thoughts, let's chat about it type of videos, especially because we've said this so many times. Most of us don't have coworkers, right? Like, we don't have a lot of people to bounce things off of. Bless my husband. He listens to me a lot, but he's not in the business. He knows what I do, and I've done it a very, very long time, and he's always very supportive, but I think he gets tired of me. I mean, because I talk about it a lot. And so I am thankful for so many of you who comment on these things, and we just chat. Like, that's what this channel is all about, is chatting about the reseller thrifting world. And there's so much going on, and I'm just gonna be honest, I am struggling with coming up with a concrete plan of my business for 2026. I have a lot of thoughts. This big head, lots of brain movement in there, but not a lot of concrete decisions being made. So I'm going to chat through some things and kind of ship as I go. A couple good sales here. The roller coaster, I've said this for years and years and years. The reseller world has always been a roller coaster. And in my opinion, that's why a lot of people don't sustain it long term, because it can be emotional. You can go through some huge divots. You have several days of zero sales, and it just is defeating. And I feel this all the time, and I'm lucky enough to have this channel now where I can kind of come on here and discuss with you guys. But there's so much going on. We've talked about the Poshmark issue, and I have some uncertainty about the Poshmark app. I've been on that app for 6 years. And it's been a part of my business. It's how I make money. It's how I support my family. It's how I feed my kids, is reselling. And it's been, a little bit worrisome that Poshmark has been such a mess. They have been doing so many different changes. There's so much chaos and confusion. And why'd they do these changes in Q4? Look, I just shook the whole desk. What in the heck? Why did they make all these changes in Q4? I am now on 2 weeks in a row, Monday through Friday, with one sale. It's abysmal. It's crazy to think that I only have one sale during that time frame, Monday to Friday, Monday to Friday. That's not going to do much. And I really, really, really believe that all of their changes, the confusion and the chaos, is propelling that. The search isn't working right. The algorithm is off. People are upset about sharing. People like me, like a lot of the sellers are also buyers. We don't even want to deal with Poshmark anymore. People are closing their shops. Everything's on fire, people, on Poshmark. And it's a mess. But this is my business. This is the kind of random trains of thought my husband has to hear. He just sits there and such a good, yeah, you're right, because that's how my brain works. I compile all of these thoughts together, and my overall thought, if anybody's even still here listening to me, since I'm so random, is Poshmark is a mess. I'm very genuinely concerned about it, and I'm wondering how that's going to affect my business in 2026, especially now that I'm going to being a full-time reseller. The last couple years, I've had the shop as a big source of my income, and I was only doing this part-time. The other day, I logged into Depop, and that had a server error. That was down. You couldn't log in. You couldn't do anything. Poshmark made me change my password about 7 times the other day, saying that there was, weird activity on the platform, and people had their entire Poshmark closets deleted. And eBay has this promoted listing thing coming, and I keep thinking to myself, when is it going to be enough? Right? That's another thing we all ask about a lot of things in life, right? How many fees am I going to have to pay? When is it enough fees? Now I have to consider whether or not I'm going to do the promoted listing, and essentially, if anybody touches my items, clicks on my items that are promoted, I'm going to be paying an additional fee, 3, 5, 10%. You know, lots of people promote 10 to 15% on their items. That's another 10% of fees on top of the fees that we already pay. Have I lost you? Reseller thoughts, end of year 2025. I know I don't want to ruffle anybody's Friday. Maybe I won't even post this. But I have so many thoughts and concerns. I've been doing this a long time, and I don't think I've ever really felt this uncertain about it, about being a reseller. And I don't want to alarm you. I'm not quitting or anything. Like, no, I'm just feeling uncertain, and I don't like that feeling. I'm not a super structured person, but I don't like feeling like Poshmark could just close my closet tomorrow, because that's how I'm feeling. I feel like at any moment they could be like, you violated our terms, and our AI bot's going to shut off your whole store. And that would be very scary, right? And as far as Whatnot goes, so it's eBay, the promoted listings, all the fees, most competition basically of ever. Poshmark is just a complete disaster mess. Everything's on fire. Depop even was having some issues with logins and stuff the other day. I posted about it. And Whatnot, I don't even know if I like it that much. I don't know how I can make it into my business model, because a lot of the successful people on Whatnot do many shows and they run for hours, and a lot of the most successful people have 30,000 followers, and I have like 1,200, which I'm still very thankful for. Overall, the Whatnot has gone better for me than it has a lot of other people, so I am absolutely thankful for that. But sometimes I just don't know. Now I'm doing raid trains. I am doing reseller chats, and that has gone really good. You guys, guess what? I owe my girl Lisa, of course, and I owe Thrift Mama London in my seller chat on Whatnot. It's a live seller chat. If you're on Whatnot, you can come hang out with us. We just talk about these types of things. So they tag. We were talking about a couple of my favorite people to watch on YouTube, Surfs Up Finds and K-Way Shop. And they're kind of like a duo sometimes. They kind of, go back and forth with each other. They're really funny, down to earth. I like watching them. Someone tagged, we were just talking about them in my life, and someone tagged K-Way Shop. And I'm like, oh yeah, they're such nice people, and which I genuinely believe. And all of a sudden it said K-Way Shop had a comment, and my face turned cherry red. I was like, I think K-Way has like 25,000 followers on YouTube. Surfs Up Fine, they're both definitely bigger resellers, and resellers with a social media presence. And they're both kind of handsome. I mean, so all of a sudden K-Way starts commenting in my live chat. We were like, oh my gosh, K-Way's here. Oh my Lanta, I turned cherry red. He's so funny. I was like starstruck, which probably sounds kind of lame, but I don't have many exciting things in my life, so I was like, this is awesome. Someone tagged him, and he got the tag on Whatnot, and he came into my live and started chatting with us, and he did give us a couple tips that were super helpful. I'm going to do a review on that at a different time. So I want to thank them, and I also wanted to thank Teresa. She gave me a tip on my Whatnot. So did On the Hunt with Jen and Miss Deb Watt. You guys are so sweet. That's another thing that I'm struggling with, is I'm not used to, I don't know if I'm not used to having such good support. I don't want to say that, because that's not true. To just get a tip, like people in my live chat were sending me tips for just talking, and I'm like, I don't know how to react, because I don't know. It's like when people tell me I look pretty today. which I rarely do, but I don't know how to respond. Like, I'm thankful and I'm grateful. I'm just shocked. It's a really awesome, like, Jen said, go buy yourself a coffee for helping us all out. And I was like, my gosh, this is so nice. Those are all my thoughts. You guys are like, this is the most squirrel-filled, sparkly thing, type of reseller thoughts chat that I've possibly ever had. And I do have a couple more things, but like we've mentioned before, we don't really have coworkers. I'm so thankful for my internet friends here who we all just kind of contemplate. These are all the things happening in the reseller world in 2025. We have this huge AI bot thing going. There's internet outages, there's breaches. It's different than when I started 15 years ago, and I killed it back then. There was a lot less resellers, of course, and it was just way different. There was no Google Photos, there was no Chat GPT, there was no nifty tools. And I love my nifty, but things were way, way different back then. And I've been doing this a long time. And now I have new goals for 2026, and it seems overwhelming. You guys are like, this video sucks. Why is she so negative? I'm just feeling really overwhelmed. And I put here, more long-term goals and what's the competition like that. I really feel like it may become, in a way, a survival of the fittest. And like I said in another video, people have commented on my videos, you have to adapt or die, basically. So if you better go to promoted listings, because that's what everyone's doing, promoted listings. You better learn to do live shows. Everyone has lives. Poshmark has lives. Whatnot has lives. eBay has lives. And this is my business, so should I also, like that, I have to stick with lives because that's where everybody is moving to. I'm gonna miss the train, which I am obviously doing Whatnot lives. I'm not still sure how much I love that. Here's a great sale. I have to get my shipping done. I'm sorry if I sound so chaotic, but I have a lot of reseller thoughts and I'm in a transitional period. And these may be things that you are also thinking about and considering. So I would love, love, love to hear your thoughts on reselling today, especially if you've been a veteran for a long time and you've seen all these different things change. Or if you're new. I have a lot of great people on my channel that are newer, that are just starting Whatnot, just starting YouTube channels, just starting reselling. Let us know what you guys are thinking and how you're feeling. This is a great sale going out today. It's Vince, not Vince Camuto, Vince. Cashmere and wool blend, very soft. Sweater, size small. I put beige cream because it is like a beigey cream color. It had this little ribbed accent. Vince, cashmere, wool blend, cardigan sweater. Very chic, modern, minimalist, neutral. I think those would be appropriate and good keywords for this. I accepted an offer for $35 plus shipping on this. Very, very nice, high quality item. That's another thing I'm doing is last night I spent like 2 hours discounting like anything that hasn't moved in 6 months. Don't go to my closet on eBay. Things are down to like $6 plus free shipping if it hasn't moved. Not everything. I didn't get to everything, obviously. I have 1,500 listings. I'm just trying to clear a bunch of stuff out. In fact, one of the ones, yeah, this one top is one of them. Everything is going like down. I just want it gone so I can start fresh. I need some new beginnings, right? New inventory, new strategy. I mean, same strategy, but like new energy, new items for 2026 because I need some new vibes. I've been listening to some more positive, not more positive, but like manifesting different energy for 2026. And not that 2025 was bad in any way. I had a very successful 2025 so far. I'm thankful for all the opportunities. My YouTube has grown to be actually pretty consistent. I have friends on here, and I think I'm going to put a squirrel in my thumbnail. Squirrel! But just going into 2026, how can we re-strategize and feel better and have a plan? This is 1 pound and 6 ounces. Really, really nice cardigan here. I also have been talking to my husband. It's like, just go find a new place to thrift. And I want to do that, go find some new locations to put in my rotation. The other problem is my time management has been so difficult. I find myself coming down here. I say coming down here because my office is in my basement. At random times at night too, to finish all the things I wanted to accomplish. And I don't always like that because I want to be with my kids. So how can I better time manage, all these different things? And another thing I with the whatnot is I went on the other day, and even like Goodwill has their own whatnot show. Salvation Army has their own whatnot show. How is that going to impact? And people were buying the crap out of their items. Like some of their items were going $30, $40, $50. How is that movement also going to affect my business? This is a really, really cute plus size 1X eyelet blouse, but it was just chic sole. That's just like a boutique-y, a low price boutique item. I discounted this and it's sold right away. $7.99 with free shipping. It's super cute. Love the color. Not much profit there. Time to move her out. Even they have their own, their own whatnot. They have their own eBay. How am I going to survive that part, right? Adapt or die. So say adapt or die, and there's going to be a little squirrel meow, running across the bottom for my thumbnail. People are going to be like, what is this about? Just kind of some, hopefully I'll do another one. I plan to do another end of 2025 reseller thoughts and goals going into 2026. And hopefully it will be a little more positive and strategic. So I guess I can get out this random thoughts and concerns and questions and chaos in this video, and the next one before we head to 2026. I just can't even believe that the other day. My sons were asking, it turns out my son who's playing basketball, one of the buddies he's been talking about, his dad I went to school with. And I was like, back in 2000, it's 2025. Where did the time go? Right? He actually went to school with my older sister, but I was like, yeah, we went to school back in 1999. This is like, this whole big swirl of a Milky Way came across my brain. I'm like, 25 years? What? Ago? Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's and what are the chances too? Good thing he told me who he was, because when you're in those basketball environments and stuff, you never know who is going to be in like your parent. If there's any parents out there like meeting new parents, you know how it is. You're like, hey, and it turns out we went to school together. Anyways, I'm just contemplating a lot. This is Columbia, and actually it did okay for me. A lot of times Columbia is a pass. Extra large Columbia in this beautiful pink heather, like heathered print, quarter zip. It went for $15 plus shipping, so that's not terrible. And I have a couple more here, and I'm going to share with you, and then I'm just going to go. I'm going to head out with my thoughts, but I'm just contemplating a lot. Like I said, I plan to do another video in December before, and hopefully it will be more strategic. I would love to hear all of your guys' goals. Let me know what your goals are. Your listing goals, your yearly goals. You do this part-time, you're going full-time. How you're going to strategize. Are you finding new places to source? If you've been doing this a long time and you feel anything like I feel, which is overwhelmed and uncertain, let me know how you are dealing with that as well. And I, even at the bins, I've been going to the bins for the current location wasn't even open. My current location wasn't even open when I started. It was in a way different location, and that has now closed. Like literally 10 years I've been going to the bins. And the competition is more than ever. KD, my girl KD, if she ever listens to this, she commented just the other day and said I was at the bins and she felt like she was gonna maybe beat someone up because people, there's so many people and they're just like really rude. You know, they're throwing stuff and throwing elbows at you and pushing you over and stealing your product. And she was feeling, you know, very upset, you know, a mix of emotions because the bins is busier than ever, which means I have less selection than ever. They sold in a day. Jim Beam. I showed this to you guys on a thrift haul maybe a week or two ago, and I said, you know, I wasn't sure about this, that a couple other resellers have been saying they've been finding things with these logos. Not like a Nike Adidas logo, but things that are branded with different, like a Cheeto shirt. Jim Beam is like an alcohol brand or a different, you know, food brands that people love. And so I took a chance at it at the bins. It sold in a day. I accepted an offer for 20 bucks. And at the bins, I paid $1.50 because it is, this is a 3X, which could, of course, affect why it sold so quickly. But it sold overnight. So $1.50 to 20 bucks plus shipping is a great quick flip for me, and I am happy with that. It's my solid bread and butter. That's another thing. I'm just laughing because I'm just so all over the place that I've been contemplating is, you know, a lot of people are trying to raise their ASP. Time is money, average sale price, ASP. Am I happy with my bread and butter? I mean, I am. Comparison is the thief of joy, right, KD? So I don't want to like be too hard on myself. And at the bins, it's such an easy $1 to $20 over and over. Jim Beam pullover sold in a day. Great. You know, I am happy with that. That's $15 profit. I turned $1.50 into $15 in profit in one day on one item. I feel like that's great. I'm shipping out 5 items on eBay right now. And we'll see what the weekend holds. Last weekend, I had my best weekend of sales all year long. And then it just tanked. I don't know. 621 going out to Michigan. And the last item here, I've sold a pair of sandals. This is what I mean. You never know what is going to sell. Just list all the things you have because you never know what's going to sell. I had that beautiful cashmere sweater for $35, a couple small blouses, this windbreaker, and these Croc shoes. These little Croc sandals. Let's see where they're going. I'm interested to know. People are going to be traveling for holidays. They are maybe already planning for spring break. There's still time, obviously, to get your sweaters and your winter things up and hopefully out. But before you know it, we'll be talking about spring stuff. Oh, it's going to an international customer through the international shipping program. Yeah, they're in good shape. Croc sandals sold for 30 bucks plus shipping. More of my sandals, like Croc sandals like this, or my water shoes, go in the $20 range. I do think this big, cute little emblem helped sell it a little bit better. So there we have it. Adapt or die. How are we all feeling? End of year. Like I said, I keep having pretty big goals in my head, and I just wanted to share all the things. Why, Poshmark, are you such a mess? eBay, what's the deal with all these promoted lists, all these fees, whatnot? How long, can I sustain what I'm doing? I'm selling things at a low price that I could get more for on eBay and Poshmark. Just a lot of things I'm contemplating, like I've just talked through. If you made it to the end here of my random reseller thoughts, what am I going to do? How am I going to strategize? I'm still struggling. And you know what? Here's the last thing I am going to say. I was crying to my husband the other day about how overwhelmed I am. Like, and these are many of the reasons why I'm feeling overwhelmed with each of the platforms I'm on, and I'm just feeling uncertain. And when I first did that video that said, we're closing the shop, and obviously I was emotional, but I was like, you know what? It's fine. It's fine. But a lot of you were so sweet and commented and were like, give yourself some time, give yourself some grace. And I was like, yeah, it'll be fine. But now that I'm like having to plan and think about my future, and I'm so grateful, because I went back to those comments to my husband. I said, you know what? Those people were right. They were like, give yourself some grace. Like, it's just not 1 weekend. I'm not just going to all of a sudden be like, boom, I have a strategy. I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm managing my time well. It's going great. I'm grateful for those comments, because I can go back to them and be like, they were right. I need to give myself a little grace. Here I am, end of November, and still feeling overwhelmed with the changes and just with reselling in general. It's not just the change from the shop, but it's a big change for me. And at the end of the day, this is how I feed my kids. So I need to, and also have the, opportunity to work when I need to. Even the other day, my son, he needed me to get him some things, and I can leave the house. I can go get whatever I need to at any time, because I'm my own boss and I run my own business. But there's a lot of other things that are connected to that opportunity and flexibility, right? We have a lot of other things to manage. It's not as easy as it looks. So thank you all for those comments. Thank you for the tips and stuff. I still don't know how to even, I'm very, very thankful. I feel blessed. I do really feel blessed. And I'm sorry if sometimes I don't know how to react to those things yet, because I'm just not used to it. And I love y'all. Have a great weekend. Don't let I'm just uncertain. Everyone have a great weekend. Okay, bye.